Good evening, Matthew.
Good evening, Jay Stew. How are you?
We've been better. How are you?
And on top of the world, brother. On top of the world. I've got another chance to stay up in the top div. It's something I didn't think I was saying 3 weeks ago, to be honest.
Man,
So,
I think we're both on different ends of the spectrum because I really fumbled the bag, and I really thought. I think if you asked me at the start of the year, if you, I would have said my perfect position and where I kind of anticipate being is fifth, because then I wouldn't have to be in the bottom playoffs. And I reckon I was
yep,
fifth for a little bit, and then I fumbled the bag in the last week. So
yep, yep.
paying for
It's
that
got to hurt.
now.
It's got to hurt a little bit, doesn't it? But you get to play another week of fantasy football. So, who's the
Yeah,
real winner here?
yeah. The sport. We do it for the love of the game, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely, we do. That's why I'm going to choose to lose on purpose, just so I can get another week.
Just so I can not only ruin my family Christmas, I can ruin my New Year's as well.
Yep, lovely.
Shall we kick off? Obviously, we're Sans Brad this week. He had a few things on, so just the two of us
Yep.
uh going through last week. We might as well just start with our matchup. I don't think it was much of a matchup, but when did you know you had it won?
So I was listening to it. So pretty much, I just listened to it at work. Like I just press play on Dazen and then just closed on my phone and I just hear it. And literally, as soon it was maybe I reckon it was maybe 10 o'clock, and I was on listening to Red Zone. So it's sometimes hard to keep up as I'm
Yeah,
working, but I literally just I can't even think who was. I have
would
a
have been
feeling
Debo, surely.
Debo would have been in the mid in that mid
He
tier,
was in
the
the
eight
8 o'clock window.
8:20 or
Yeah,
8 o'clock or 8:20 game or whatever it was.
yeah.
And oh mate, it was like in the end zone. And then like it felt like fuck all later in the end zone again. I'm like, yep, I've got this in the bag. Then I shit myself though and went, oh no, how's Zave and Riz's matchup doing? Because if Riz wins, I'm done anyway, and there's no point. And
Yeah.
then I've looked over there and I just jumped on the Purdy bandwagon. I jumped on that thing so bloody
MVP.
hard. Oh, mate, give it to him because he's bloody got me out of the shit. So I was pretty happy. But yeah, I obviously needed results to go my way, and luckily, thanks to Riz for not exactly showing up. Um,
Yeah, I think we can probably skip through this pretty quickly, but obviously our matchup, there wasn't really much going on. I had I left a lot of points on the bench, but in the end it didn't really fucking matter, did
in
it? And
saying that, you still,
your
yeah,
defense, picking whoever plays the Jets is just a smart move. Like,
yeah,
and obviously
absolutely it
Miami is
is.
good, so
I went to go. I looked at the old Baltimore. Went, oh, like obviously Trevor's under a bit of an injury cloud. Do I go? And I went, don't be stupid, Matt. Go against the Jets. Dolphins have
yeah,
been good the last couple of weeks as well on defense. So
yeah.
yeah, I thought, oh, this looks like the sort of matchup for me. Um,
My big headache was, and I think I sent in the pod chat on the morning, I think 4 o'clock, Jonesy got cleared, and I was like, well, I'm going to play him. So that sent Singletary to the bench. And ultimately, it didn't matter, but still, the vibes were down. If I had that
yeah,
17 instead of, and like, I don't, I don't know, Saquon's a bit of a poison pill at the moment because they're going to be playing from behind, and that means they're not really running the ball. So
and DeVito's starting to do some things.
yeah,
He's actually
yeah,
starting to feel a more comfortable, I should say. Shouldn't feel
bit relevant.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So we cop that. Hopefully that means that they're going to be a little bit better on offense, which allows Saquon to get into it a little bit
Get
more
some
for next
options.
week. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it is sad him watching him, pretty much be irrelevant.
Yeah. And you touched on this before, but Zav got it. Zav got it done, Zav.
Zav, I like it. We can start calling him that.
Yeah,
Yep, Zav got the
he
job
loves
done.
when you toy around with his name,
Yeah.
famously.
Well, let's go with it then. Let's roll with it. So yeah, Zav just did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And then the best part about the whole week was Zav being unaware of the fact that only fifth doesn't play in the playoffs. So when he when he poked up with that, oh shit, I loved it. I
Yeah.
absolutely
Incredible.
frothed at that. Oh, so good to see him get a win, feel like he was on holiday, and then just get dragged back and said, "Sorry, brother, it's not holidays yet
It's
for you."
it's also awesome because he would have that was before the ladder had updated, so he would have had to do the math and like he would have
Yep.
been doing it, being like pumping his fist, writing it down on some shit, and then
Uh,
he would have thrown that piece of paper in the bin. So
yep,
sucked
yep,
in, Zave. I
yep.
can't wait to sorry, Zav. I can't wait to see you in the mini bowl relegation playoff, not the
Oh,
mini bowl.
I'd love to see
We
that.
yeah. Do we have a name for the relegation playoff? It's just like the
I
toilet
actually don't
bowl,
know
isn't
if we
it?
do. I think it's just the
Yeah.
I think it's already bad enough you having to go down if you end up losing it anyway. So yeah, sucked in. That's all I can say.
Moving on to Brathwaite's matchup, he got the job, got the chocolates against Pat. I think Christian McCaffrey just continuing to be a cheat code. What is
It's
that?
just
Is that
not
it's
fair, is
almost
it?
200 yards, three
And three
touchdowns.
tutties. That's unreal, isn't it? He's so good.
Yeah,
Look, it probably helps because he knows that Austin Eckler's not going to do a bloody damn thing, is he? So,
yeah,
and now that that's more of a split backfield as well, it's actually probably ruined him, to be honest. He'd probably be the favourite if he had held on to Debo, really. Not allowed
yeah,
much
for
for
sure.
muchness, but yeah, Steph Diggs and Eckler haven't really done much since that trade's gone through. Obviously getting something out of your tight end and your defense obviously bumps your numbers up a little bit.
Yeah,
But you'd think the San Fran defense still keeps on going pretty bloody strong.
yeah. And do we know if Jacobs is coming back this week?
I actually am not sure yet. You'd think so, but
Yeah,
you'd think it's just because of the quick turnaround.
yeah,
For the Thursday night game, I would have thought, but I haven't seen anything on that.
yeah. Because obviously, Keontae Mitchell also did his ACL, didn't he,
Yeah, I
in
believe
that
so.
game?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's
So
done. So yeah, which
brutal.
that looked disgusting too.
Yeah, like you hate to see the full leg extension.
Oh, yep,
Oh,
yep. That was I've seen it. One was enough in Chubb, so you don't want
yeah,
to see more than that.
yeah.
And
And
over to
then
Pat's side, it's sort of it just he seemed to have been able to beat people in front of him. Yeah, but it's a little bit of dire straits at the minute. It looked good early for him actually.
yeah, look at
I've
those
looked at
top four
this.
scores. Like, I mean, actually, maybe take Tua out of it because that's unders for him, only throwing one tutty. But like, you get double digits from these top three, the two RBs and the wide receiver. Like Devontae's been pretty quiet this year. You kind of take that. There's touchdowns in all this group, but D Hop didn't make the most of it. Nine targets, just two receptions isn't a good yield. Pitts is going to block, and that's about it, right?
Yep, yep. I'm hearing
Pretty
you.
tough out
Yeah,
there.
and playing the Jets is probably that doesn't quite make sense to me. But
Pretty optimistic.
yeah, very optimistic. Look, obviously with no Nico and no Isaiah Pacheco, he's obviously had to chuck some things around to make it work. So not the side he would have really wanted to put out. And he had what's his name? Pato decided to not keep his job. And
Yeah,
that
crazy.
was Pat's starting kicker for a bit. So I think he ended up
Yeah,
I don't know what ended up happening there, but yeah, but
that's crazy. I wonder what's like. How do you lose the job like this?
I don't
Converted
know.
15 of 17 field goals. Yeah, sure.
I
And then
really
35. He's missed four
he's
kicks.
missed four shots on goal. He must have missed two in one game. That's all I
Yeah.
can assume. It's a pretty cutthroat industry, isn't it?
Yeah, he'd want to be there. Yeah,
Yeah,
brutal.
I'm
Yeah,
hearing
which
you.
also meant that he had to cut McKinnon, who would have been helpful. Probably
Helpful.
not enough, but very helpful
Yeah,
in that
absolutely.
flex position.
Look, if he can get, because I know Pacheco's not quite out yet, if he can get him to play, and I don't know what Nico Collins' status is at the minute, but
Good
I didn't think it
question.
was anything too serious. So it'll be interesting to see if he
It doesn't say, hasn't updated
yeah.
yet. But yeah, even then, Stroud's probably not going to play again. So, Case Keenum, can you trust him?
Well, you're still gonna just got to shoot your
You
shot,
got to
don't
throw to
you?
someone. Yeah.
You just got to shoot your shot there. Yeah, this was an absolute boil over. This was just shit
Yeah.
to be a part of, shit to watch, shit to
Yeah.
yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, great to see because means the Moz is back just in time for playoffs. Considering I picked Hayden to
Beautiful.
win, so that's always good. But yeah, oh god, James Cook was good to watch, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was amazing. They just ran all over the Dallas D. And obviously, like the Dallas D has been good to date, but they just brought Micah Parsons up to the line of scrimmage and just ran straight through him. It's incredible.
Do you reckon that's going to be their way to go going forward now? Now that they've actually finally found a way to make their offense relevant and to
I
score
think so.
score
I
points?
don't know how you can I don't know how you can put a performance like that and then immediately go back to Josh Allen. I mean, I don't think that Josh Allen is going to have 9 completions in many other games
No,
this year. Like
no.
that's yeah,
Yeah, that's
what
crazy, isn't it?
seven
7.
completions. Yeah, crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
Off 15 attempts as well. Like that guy should be throwing that ball. But obviously the game planning worked. And if you're winning 31-10, like outside of the fantasy zone, like that's incredible. And they
Yeah,
need to win.
absolutely.
And they need
Absolutely.
to
Which
win with like they might not even make playoffs at this stage, like
oh
the Buffalo
yeah,
Bills, which
what
is
are they? The
incredible.
ninth seed, I believe they are.
Yeah.
So and had the hardest run coming home, I think it was. Um
And they might be the best team out there. They still
yeah,
might be like
yeah.
they
Yep.
still could win the
Still
Super
might.
Bowl. It's crazy.
Yep. Absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah, look, obviously, Tick would have been happy to see Tyreek Hill not quite making it out there. So they just went, all right, we'll go from one fast guy to
Who's
another in
next
Jalen
up?
Waddle.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's always good to see. Yeah, I just think Tim's pretty happy sitting there, but I reckon if he could have scraped in into that top four, he might have been a bit of a danger man.
Yeah, for sure. And he definitely found like the right mix in his lineup as well. Like it's obviously time to cut Najee loose. Monday Stevenson is out for the
Well, he only just
foreseeable
picked him
future.
up. It looked like he
Yeah.
only just picked him
Yeah,
up
that
on
is true,
shore.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Keenan
yeah.
Allen also scratch, and that game was shit as well. With Easton
Oh,
Stick throwing to
that
the
was
Chargers. It's
that
awful.
was garbage. That was
Yeah.
so garbage. That was dreadful. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So,
But yeah,
yeah,
Tick's
good
team
work.
is on ice now.
Yep, good work, Tim, for a
Congratulations.
holiday. Well done.
Yeah.
See you next year. Love it. Now, this game had actually a little bit into it. This
Yeah.
had a bit of heat onto it. Kobe doesn't know how to feel the pressure of losing one in a row, so he thought, how about I pile it on just before playoffs and I'll make it 2 in a row. I'll lose 2 on the trot heading into playoffs, and then I will start telling everyone how good my fucking team is still on the chat. So yeah, I did quite like Tommy Boy coming out and then showing the tickets that he had pre-purchased the week before. Yeah, I really liked it, and to see these boys coming up for two matchups in a row as well, it's
This
going
is
to be
cinema.
on.
This is
Oh,
absolute cinema.
I'm
You can write this. I could talk about this matchup all day. I
oh
think the way you touched on it, the way that Tom called his shot, as soon as Kobe coming off the loss from me, Tom was like, "Yep, sweet. Well, Kobe's not going to win again, and I'm going to knock him out." So,
yep.
and he did it. It's just like I think we were talking. It's incredible, like just mismanagement from Kobe as well. Like I don't think
Oh,
he would have won, but Brad said it on the pod last week. You got 2 tight ends, you might as well have none, and he got it wrong again. Jake
yep,
Ferguson,
yep.
44 yards. Laporta had 3 touchdowns, and he's on the bench. And
It's
then
just
he played Amon Ra St. Brown in the flex, who had the Sunday game with Tyreek is
Tyreek Hill.
questionable,
Yep.
and they got locked into it because he didn't have he had a Rashi Rice on the bench, but that was the 5 a.m. game, and Kobe's not built for it, so didn't get up to
No,
check his
no.
lineup and didn't play him. So
Kobe wakes up because he's in a false sense of security because he's on top of the ladder and he thinks it doesn't really matter. But as we all know, team sports, it's all about form, and you got to be in
yeah,
form to be able to go win the whole thing. And at the minute, he's not in form. He's lost 2 on the trot. His boys are struggling. But he's
yeah,
2 big main carries in Demont and ETN as well. Not doing much.
no,
Like
yeah.
Jameer's taken over that offense. I'm calling it now.
And this isn't like AFL or anything. You don't get a second chance
No,
despite finishing on top.
no.
That 2 is glaring, and as soon as it gets to 3, season's over.
Yep, the big call is going to be if Tyreek plays this week.
Yeah,
But in saying that, I don't even know what time he's playing. But geez, Code might be opening presents or something instead.
yeah. Kobe's
He,
going to
he,
check his schedule, I think.
Yeah, he might not want it. He might need to set a couple of alarms just to make sure he knows what time the games are starting, just to get
I
himself
yeah,
going.
I couldn't get over him playing Amon Ra in the flex. Like that is just management 101. The
Uh,
flex is the latest starter, no matter what it is.
yep,
Like
yep, absolutely it is. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, couldn't
uh,
believe it. So, but anyway,
this is our last look at the ladder for the year because it stops being relevant after now.
yep,
But we touched on it. Tick is now in the beautiful no man's land that is fifth with Riz, who was also inactive. He's going down. This is the last we'll talk about Riz in the men's division for this season. So farewell, Riz. Then there's the four of us playing off. So there's you taking on Zav, and then
love
me
it.
and Pat. And then Kobe taking on Tom again. Tom looking to go 2 weeks in a row.
Ooh,
Hayden and
love it.
Brad in an absolute grudge match.
We love to see that. We love to see that. But we'll jump over to the Flash division and we'll
Let's
have a
have a
look
look.
at the week that was.
Yeah, and I think a pretty predictable sort of week in the Flash. Marty kind of continuing to bully those lower teams again. Just making the right calls. Like Edward Hilaire looked great. That jumping mosque touchdown that he had at the back of the end zone was incredible.
Yep.
The dude's 5'7". I'm certain that ball was thrown for Travis Kelce and he just jumped in the way.
Did you hear that he was telling Mahomes throughout the week that he was
No.
saying, "You throw a ball at me, I'll catch it," and then he's pulled that out of the bag, and Mahomes
Yeah.
like, "Mate, he's telling me all week, tell me about it. You throw me the ball, I'll catch it."
That's incredible. And for a guy that pretty much could have been out of the league next season, like
Oh,
this is like what McKinnon was doing last year in terms of um just vulturing touchdowns. I don't think Clyde had a touch. Oh, did he? I don't think he had a touchdown last week because he was on my side when he did that. But yeah, incredible form. Like, almost 100 all-purpose yards. That's amazing.
yep. Played Amari as well.
Got a soft spot for Clyde as well because I think I've drafted him for a couple of years and he's
You
been
you drafted him
garbage.
as you drafted him as the rookie. When he
Yeah,
first came onto the scene, and he was meant to be the next big thing on a good offense, and he did nothing.
he was
So
garbage. Yeah,
good to see him. Good to see him. Apparently, one of the nice guys as well. They reckon.
yeah,
So yeah, good to see him do something. But yeah, you look at Marty's team. He just did enough. Picked right with Amari Cooper as well.
yeah.
You look between Kenny, Claude, and Amari. Yeah, and T Higgins. I
T.
didn't even
Higgins
realize
with
that.
the absolute touchdown of the year
Yeah.
as well, just winning the game for his team, putting them on
Yep.
his back, which is
Yep.
incredible because he has been borderline kind of unplayable for a lot of the
Well,
season.
well, he was cuttable.
Yeah,
In
because
in the in the Mams, he
you
got
would
cut.
you'd pick him up after round like maybe he started the season on a roster. It probably tells me here, right? Yeah, so Marty drafted him and
There
he's
you
back
go.
on Marty's team now.
Yep.
But yeah, he didn't. Oh, he played, had 8 targets and no catches. And then you
Yeah.
probably bench him. Then you miss his boom game, and you play him
And then
again,
you
and he
play him
starts.
again.
Yeah,
Yep. And then he's been rat shit since.
yeah.
Literally.
So good for
So
him. Another guy that I've had in the past that I've got a real soft spot for. But yeah,
yep.
Marty taking some form in. Obviously, he's playing off for that second promotion spot as well. So he'll appreciate that.
And
Dougal
it,
having Dougal
this was
having
huge.
the mid-round name change as well, just
Yep.
stating his intentions. Yards yes, tutties no, which is the bane of the existence. It doesn't really matter unless you get in that end zone. What happened for him to change that? Who was it? It must have been
I think it was
maybe a
the week
trade bribe.
I think it was the week before.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
he just got I know he works some nights and everything like that, but I think he's
What
four
does
days in,
Dougal
4 days
do? I
off.
haven't quite figured it out.
He is a call center like for I think the Ambos, I think he is, or for Triple
Ah,
Zero, whatever it is. So yeah,
like
so I
Marsh,
think
like a
yeah,
dispatcher.
yeah, yep,
Ah, okay,
yep.
cool.
So yeah,
They know
so
each
he
other.
uh, well, I'm pretty sure they do. They're playing the same league, so
I'm in a part of that, yeah.
I took my chance. I had to, but oh well. Getting back on track. It was a big game for these two because whoever won it, if I'm not mistaken, was meant to be going into that fifth position.
And I
Um,
think Jack had thought he'd sewn up
oh,
that fifth position as well.
Jack already thought it was done. He thought you're beauty. I've got it. fifth locked was the wording that he put, and yeah, now he's fighting for his life. Yeah, down in there, all he had to do was beat Dawg, and hasn't been able to do that. It does hurt that Raheem was a cheat code for Miami,
Hmm.
and or it was
Yeah.
their defense. And yeah, and St. Brown did enough, and that's sort of all you really needed, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Raheem's kind of like guaranteed money at the moment now that he's got that touchdown record for Miami. It's like McDaniels is just like such a character that he's just like, oh, give Raheem the ball. Like
Mate,
as
I
soon
know,
as,
and it's killing me with Achan, killing me.
yeah, because
Oh,
it's pretty much just like the Hurts treatment. If they get to the 1 yard line, that's
yep,
just getting the ball.
yep. Mate, they get to
And
the
it's
8 yard
crazy.
line, they're nearly doing it. Like, because
Yeah,
they
they're like,
know,
oh, we'll
oh,
do it 3 times in a row. Who cares?
yeah,
The guy
yep,
can handle it. He's
mate,
gonna get a break.
they've shown some faith in him because there was like a couple of times on the goal line where it was, you know, second try of it, two and goal, second and goal, and no idea, nowhere near it. Then they're like,
Yeah,
let's make a bloke go on the outside and be really, really quick, who's quicker than everyone else. Oh, it worked again.
yeah,
I think both of them were the same play. So
yeah,
yeah, so it's got to help Dude coming into it. He's just scraped into those playoffs. So we'll see. If look, ideally it probably would have been better to have McCaffrey on your side, but we look forward to it.
yeah. Either way, guaranteed tutties at this stage.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now talk about a man coming up.
Yeah, yeah. JJ kind of gave up on this, and like we put a lot of stock in this, thinking that it could have been the 1 seed playoff, but JJ kind of fell apart towards the end there. You
Yes,
kind of see you playing, not changing Herbert for the Friday game. After that happens, you kind of, you know,
there was
it's come back from.
there was a little bit of controversy about this as well with someone bringing up that that collusion's sort of something you don't ever want to bring into
It's
anything,
a
or
nasty word.
yeah,
It's
it is a
probably the
very
strongest C word that I know.
it is the strongest C word that I know, and we take that very seriously. Yeah, and yeah, it got put out. How come he's trying to alter the playoff outcome, and unfortunately, it didn't really matter what he did. He just thought he'd rest his boys and
Yeah,
and he'd be good to go. So it was really out of his control, to be honest. So
yeah.
yeah, it got debunked pretty quick. But yeah, but still to get 70 odd and decide not to have a
That's a lot of
quarterback.
points on the bench, isn't it?
Yeah,
God.
and yeah, you could tell that he just sat there and went, well,
Yeah.
I'll try again next week. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom.
Still, like
Yeah.
even looking at that, I don't know. Like you probably don't play Singletary. Like I mean, I didn't, so you probably don't. Zach Moss maybe, James Cook
Zach
maybe.
Moss
Like
looked
over
injured, I think.
ETN, December Derek. Like obviously that's the outlier there, like massively.
Yep. Yeah, that hurts. That really, really
Yeah,
hurts.
and
Yeah.
Debo in the flex, so that yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, it's kind of hard, coming from the Mavs to look at the Flash. Sometimes you forget about like the difference between the 10 team and the 8 team. That like
Oh
you've got so
God,
much more
God, there's some
depth
good
here.
players on the bench, isn't there?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
some bloody good players. You've got to pick their big weeks, don't you?
yeah. But I think JJ in roaring form. I always back him in, and he always loses every time I tip him. So
So maybe
good
don't
for
tip
him.
him. You might be a chance.
Yeah, I tipped him again last week. I'm pretty sure.
Uh,
Last one, Marsh just finishing the year nice and strongly, much to his complaints, given that he had a good team. I stand by the fact that he had a good team. He had Christian McCaffrey. Any team with Christian McCaffrey is a good
Yep,
team.
it's a good team. Have to agree. Lamar, you'd think normally is a cheat code, but he's been mediocre for most of the year.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then I believe he's had a few injuries come through as well, which everyone has, and I get that. But he's sort of starting to come okay at the right time here.
Yeah.
He's done some good things, and he's got himself out of that automatic playoff the Mindy. Um,
Hmm.
so he gets a chance to get out of it this week and count his lucky stars, I guess. And yeah, and head on to next year, I'd assume. So he's
Yeah.
put himself in the right spot anyway to
Exactly.
give
Yeah.
himself
Great.
a double
And
opportunity.
And then obviously Dak came back down to earth, like after having a few red hot weeks, just couldn't get anything done against the Buffalo D.
Dallas just does what Dallas does. That's the
Yeah,
best way I can put it. They
just
hype
a
all their
point.
fans up, and then they go,
Yeah,
"Oh, sorry, I forgot. We're a
yeah.
disappointment."
It's just like there's a circle that goes around Twitter. It's just like we're so
Yeah.
back, we're so doomed, we're so back. It's like,
Oh, the
yeah,
old we them boys.
yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah, we them
Yeah, we
boys.
them boys. We're not them
Yeah,
boys.
yeah, yeah.
So
But Footbrush also playing off for that other promotion spot.
that
So
was the other one that didn't really fucking matter either,
yeah, yeah.
between second and
So
third. So
last look at the standings. So obviously Clem has the week off. It's nice to see the number one standing having the most points for as well.
yep,
So obviously earned it, sewed it up pretty quickly. JJ, the second seed, into playing off against Dougal,
yep.
and then Footbrush and Marty.
Couple
And
of big
then
games.
just to go over it again, it's Marshall versus Jack, and the loser plays Billy next week.
Yep.
Correct?
So
Yeah.
Sleeper's unable to make that happen off our own bat. So Clem, who obviously doesn't have to play playoffs because he goes straight up, will be in the matchup against Billy, but that will not mean anything.
Yeah.
That's just there just to make things happy on the Sleeper app.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Do we jump into MVPs teams of the week?
We sure can. Brad, do you want to go? Oh wait, hang on. Sorry.
Who? I don't know. I don't know, man.
That Raff fella. My MVP for the week's Jared Goff. I'm
It's a
pretty
good
sure
call.
someone thought about picking him up and decided not to, and it probably would have been a really good pickup. Yeah, you can roll into your MVP.
Yeah, yeah. I got James Cook. I just don't think that anyone would have guessed that he would have 200 all-purpose yards and as many
Love that.
touchdowns as he did.
Yeah.
My bust is actually I got two busts. It's Jake Ferguson, who I was promised would have a big week, but he didn't. And then Tyreek Hill, just again, just not showing up
Not
when his
not big
team
man.
needed him most.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. And by team you mean fantasy team, don't you?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
I like it. I very much like. Well, I can't go past someone who got negative points. So bad luck to Bill and Clem. Yeah, Bijan did not do
Did
his
he
role
actually
at all.
did he get
Negative
negative points?
negative 1.6. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah. Let's bring that up. Wow, 1.6.
There
Jesus
you go. Negative
Christ.
1.6. So
Because of the fumble
yep.
lost. And then he had three targets, one one reception for 3 yards, 7 rushes for 11 yards. Oh my God.
What a day. What a day.
That's borderline
And
cuttable, isn't it?
yeah, oh
And
yeah,
blocked for the Cordell Patterson fucking
yeah.
touchdown.
You'd be so spewing, wouldn't you? And my team of the week is Riz for taking one for the team and going down and giving me a chance to stay up. So thank you.
Mine's Tech. I think just
Yeah,
good to, do what I think you said in the chat. He's finishing on a high in terms of he's got the bet and now he's got a holiday. So
yeah,
good for him.
love that. Absolutely love that.
To jump into next week, let's start in the Flash. We just kind of touched on it then, but we've got a few spicy matchups, and we'll do a bit of tipping while we do that as well.
Oh, I like it.
Um, Now this will be a little bit out of order, won't it? Oh
Yep,
no,
it
it's
will
fine.
be Dougal JJ will be to start off with.
Cool. So this is number one. Well, I guess number one seed for the playoffs, and JJ versus number
Yep,
four seed, and
yep.
Dougal. What are we seeing here? What's the matchup? Do you reckon is going to be the difference? Is it going to be something like a Jefferson and a Diggs, two guys that haven't really had the years that you would have anticipated at the start? Maybe it comes down to that, and then it's like St. Brown, who's been super consistent, as well as Mike Evans, who has been, arguably one of the most valuable, the best value players for the fantasy season on the year. Like,
Absolutely.
I'd be curious to know where he was drafted, and I just fucked up. But we'll
But
talk
anyway,
about it.
while you say that,
Yeah.
I think it comes down to I'm pretty sure it was Derek and ETN. I think that's the big one. Both running backs have been down in the
Hmm.
past couple of weeks, so I really do think that that's the big one right there. Obviously, Raheem being in such good form on the other side of the wicket. Yeah, I think that's where the matchup's going to be won or lost. Obviously, Jefferson and Diggs, you sit there and you do these ones, and you go, oh,
Yeah,
look, you think Minnesota's going to be behind against Detroit, so that could hurt either way with Jefferson and St. Brown playing each other in the matchup. So all Dougal wants is someone to be high scoring and that be the Minnesota and Detroit game. But look, you you hope that JJ can pick from either Tua or from Juzzy Herb and pick who he wants to pick. But that obviously that'll come
JD
down.
was out for the
Oh,
season, isn't he? He's not coming back.
is he?
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think
I didn't
he's
hear that.
moved
Yeah,
to
he moved
IR.
IR.
There you go.
Yep, fair enough. Oh, well, they're not making it, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, but he's definitely got some picks there in Dev. I don't reckon Zach Moss will be he's got a bit of an injury cloud as well, and James Cook. I think there you two you go. I think you're looking at James Cook purely because it's against Chargers, against just a dog shit side, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. It's hard to go past that. And you don't really forget that demolition that Las Vegas put on the Chargers. Where are you steering in terms of tipping for this?
I honestly can't go against. I see Hurts against the Giants. That obviously means lots of opportunities. And I look at Raheem and go, I can't go past that. So I'm going to go for the Duke. I reckon he's the man to come be a chance to come up next year.
Yeah, I'm going to back Dougal in as well. I think for all the reasons that you said, I think just matchup dependent, like that top that yeah, Hurts versus the Giants, for like that's tasty. And then yeah, I think there's going to be lots of running in these Miami Dallas games, so these guys will get a lot of touches and yeah, make the most of it. Stiff draw from Josh
Yeah, yeah, very stiff.
and Marty and foot brush.
Look, depends on if Marty decides to look at his team. It's probably the biggest question mark out of everything. Um, I'm actually gonna, I'm actually gonna pick him because I think Footbrush is in a whole pile of hurt. Like, does Jacobs
Look at
play?
this,
Does
yeah.
Pacheco play? Does Chase play? Like,
Chase
is
isn't going to play, I
Chase?
don't think.
Same with Keenan Allen as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, sit there and go, Jesus Christ, injuries everywhere. He said he didn't even want to play, didn't even want to have Jonesy sitting on his side for the last 10 weeks. He's complained and yeah, I just can't see him. I actually see Marty looking at his team hopefully and getting up.
yeah. I think for a point of difference, I want to pick foot brush. I think Gibbs has that upside. Ty Chandler looked fucking awesome. He's going to be a featured part of that offense now as well. CD Lamb, I just think is like good for 10 points. Like just
Oh,
write it down. 100
that's it.
yards, maybe a touchdown. Just
Yeah,
he can do whatever he wants on that field. It's
yep, would
incredible.
have to agree. And you think he'd be a
And
chance against Miami as well.
yeah, and then Devonta as well. Like that's a Giants matchup. That's awesome. Then you get further down and Buffalo's playing the Chargers and they're gonna have Easton stick under center again. So
Yeah,
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 I've
it's
got
gonna be a big.
I got full brush in this one.
No, I like it.
Cool. So moving into the not even the relegation, it's the B bitch kind of duties,
It
isn't it?
is. It is. It is. It is. It is. Mindy as Mindy can be. So, obviously we don't have to look at the Bill matchup and Clem because obviously that's a non-event. But this is pretty big. Marsh coming up, just scraping through right at the end. The cheat code of McCaffrey really helps any side.
Hmm.
Um, bit scared about him having to play Hopkins if he sticks on that. I'd like to see what's sitting on his bench to be able to jump on that. Look,
You put
you'd
Waddle
think
back
you'd
in.
try and put Waddle back in and just hope for the best.
Mm.
You'd hope so anyway. But obviously the other side of things, Joe Mixon's had a pretty down year. Paddy Mahomes hasn't been his usual fantasy self either. Cooper Cup's had an up and down sort of year. DJ Moore's probably been one of his most consistent players.
Yeah.
And probably Demont as well. So I think this could honestly go either way. I really think it could go either way. I'm gonna side with I'm gonna go with Willis actually. I think I'm just gonna I don't know why. Obviously McCaffrey playing Baltimore makes it a little bit tougher, but um yeah, I still think he'll dominate. It's just what else he's got
Yeah.
that'll jump on with him.
I'm gonna pick on Marsh. I'm gonna pick up Marsh on this one. I think his side's got enough. I think that Tuesday matchup is going to be awesome. It's great that this will come down to the Tuesday because Marsh will be in a big hole with McCaffrey and Jackson being the latest game to play and Ayuk really. So
Yep.
I think that's going to be really exciting and probably one
Yeah.
to watch. Wow, he's really stacked on that late Tuesday game. So
Yeah,
clear
absolutely.
all your plans.
Yep, absolutely. Uh, what plans?
Yeah.
We're all gonna be sitting here watching football, aren't we?
Yeah, that is my plan actually.
Yeah. Oh, we've got ourselves a little
I got a guest. Oh, it's Brad.
bit of a guess.
Brad doesn't have
Yep,
that much
Brad is
hair.
no, Brad's not this good a company actually.
All right, let's start at the top of the mini bowl. So we've got Kobe and Tom. Again, this is a rematch from last week, where Tom got the chocolates, and it'll just be about whether Kobe continues to make the wrong decisions. Really?
Yeah, well, look, uh, he will have to probably make a change. Do you reckon Michael Pittman gets through everything that he has to get through? Um, Maybe could go either way. So that's the only real worry. Um,
Yeah,
what's
it's been unpredictable with like the way that the concussion protocol has
oh,
kind of gone ahead. Like Olave played after getting one the week before. CJ Stroud's about to miss his
missed
second week.
two
So,
weeks in a row?
I mean, I guess that's probably, and concussions are case by case as well. So that's probably the thing. But God, that hit looked pretty brutal. So I don't know if he's getting up. And he's been a surefire 10 points every time you start him as well. So if you take that away from Tom, that's going to be pretty brutal.
It is. But in saying that, Tom is a fantasy manager who can actually manage.
Yes.
He doesn't just have all the really good players and haven't had to do anything. And Kobe's made a lot of mistakes throughout the year, but hasn't really had to worry about it because everyone stood up. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it's going to be very very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, obviously I dare say Tom will be putting Buffalo um
for sure.
in that open defensive spot. I'm gonna go for Tok actually. I can't not. I can't not.
Yeah.
I can't rip Kobe as much as I have. I want him to lose. He's still top of the ladder. So until that happens, yeah, hopefully he's out of here.
Yeah, I've got Tom as well. I reckon this is going to be a statement game.
I
Just
like
working
it.
out. He's got Lamar to play in that last bracket on the Tuesday, so Tom will be nice and sewn up, all things considered, by Monday afternoon. So it'll be a nervous wait for Kobe, I reckon, with the Lamar
It'd
last one to play.
just be a completely nervous wait all round, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll have to get a camera on him somehow.
Oh, gonna have to. Well, he might not even know the games have started actually.
Yeah,
So
that is true. He
yeah,
might
it
be
might be.
still in bed
Yeah, it might be a bit tough. All right, onto the. I'm calling this the spiciest matchup of a lot.
for
Because these
sure.
two sort of get into each other a fair bit, and they're both pretty confident in their sides. So I suppose let's go through them. First and foremost, I look at the two that have probably struggled the most in the King being December Derek, and on the other side being Austin Eckler. I don't know if you can leave out your stars and your studs, but
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, they nearly warrant getting
yeah.
dropped the way that they're going at the minute.
Yeah, do you risk it at this stage of the year? Like, I'm going through it really with Saquon, obviously in terms of like the vocal point of the offense, but Brad's got Jacobs hopefully to come back in, and obviously
Well, he's already
that's a long break, right? Like that
yeah.
should be enough for him to take that. And then do you look at moving somebody else into the flex, like a Puka Nacua? Um, but they do have the short game, so traditionally those teams run the ball more.
Who's Tommy got in his flex?
Hayden or Tom?
Hayden, sorry.
Bijan.
Bijan. Oh, yeah, well, there you go. There's the other side of it. Do you
Yeah.
do you check? You wouldn't have thought two in a row that he'll have another absolute stinker. Um,
Oh,
but
he's yeah.
like, he hasn't been good of recent. He's been up and down of recent. So on going off that, he should have a good week this week. But do you move him up? Do you bench the king, put the prince in, and do you play Amari Cooper? These are all
Yeah.
questions that need to be asked.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Hayden has the answers. Look, it's probably not going to matter because I'm going to tip him still anyway. Just because I can, and just because I want the Moz to be alive and well. So I'm going to go for Plem. But I think this is going to be the matchup everyone looks for. Obviously, the Tuesday game, the latest Tuesday game.
Yeah.
Brad's got a pretty invested interest in. So it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, for sure. I've got Brad in this one. I think he gets it done. And that'll make it a Brad and Tom Mindy Bowl.
Three-time champ, no time
Oof.
champ.
Champ, champ,
I
champ.
might I might put that in there. Like I might just add that in. Braff's the only one that is a chance to be a reigning
He's got
premier.
runs on the board.
Yeah, everyone else is going to be a new Mindy owner.
Incredible.
So which should be good.
It's very exciting. It's very
Yeah, it
exciting.
is. It's great for the league actually. It shows that anyone can come in and anyone can do well because we'll probably suck at fantasy football.
Now let's look at your matchup versus Zabs.
Yep.
Obviously playing off the loser of this will go into the toilet bowl to get relegated.
Yes. Give us your
So
thoughts
what
here,
do
Jay Stu. Give us your thoughts
well,
first and foremost, and I'll tell you what
I'm just
I'm
looking at
thinking.
Zab's team, and there is a bunch of names that I know you have been pretty hot in his team, but I think he's got a lot of changes. Obviously, this is the first day, a lot of changes to make to his lineup. I would say that Ty Chandler, after the performance he put in, comes into the lineup, and Jalen Reed probably goes out, and then Jamar Chase. I don't know if he's going to get up for the game, so even he might get swapped with Jalen Reed. Terry McLaurin's coming off, I think, one of his best games. He had 2 touchdowns and 20 points. Jordan Addison is the waiver wire pickup from this week as well, who also had a few touchdowns. So I think Zave has the highest chance of getting this wrong when you
Yes. Yeah,
when you weigh up all these decisions to make, and ultimately, it does come the way why we do this is it comes down to management and who can manage their team best. Um,
correct.
and then I look over at your side and I just think Mahomes is due. But I think I would have said that every week.
But
Javante
surely against
Adams.
Las Vegas, surely,
Yeah, exactly.
surely.
Javante Williams. Honestly, I can't bring myself to watch the Broncos, so I wouldn't even know what his seasons look
I'm not.
like.
I'm not watching Denver versus New England. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling you right
and
now. Monday at 12:15 is not happening for me.
yeah, it's nap time.
Oh yeah,
And
straight
then
after.
it's things like AJ Brown against the Giants is favorable. Samuel is look like one of the most explosive sort of wide receivers that you can have, given his his propensity to get both receiving and rushing touchdowns. Because sometimes they just throw him in the jet sweep and they're like, Debo, just go do your thing,
Yep,
break
yep.
tackles and get to the line. Um, Achan we talked about as well. Like he's a little bit more boom or bust, given that most gets all the goal line touches because of this record. Um, tough, tough for your defense, but
It's
yeah, I
tough
think
for
I've
either
got
defense I play. Tough for either defense I play.
yeah,
The Ravens are playing against San Fran. Like
San Fran, yeah.
you nearly hope to God that I'm thinking Miami you play and you just hope for the best. To be honest,
Now we also need to touch on that this is obviously a rematch from the Mindy Bowl of last year.
yes.
The ill-fated Damar Hamlin Mindy Bowl. But do you reckon if Zav wins this, do you think he feels a little bit better about last year, or
No,
that'll
no,
sort of
not at
paper over the
all.
pain?
Not
Yeah,
not at all. I think that actually hurt him a lot more that he's won a matchup that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
yeah.
Um, yeah, to think it got taken out of your hands. And this is probably why this is a
It's
bit of a
quite literally
spicy
in the hands
matchup.
of God. you would say.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Well, the hand of God came straight to me
Yeah,
that day. So yeah, I think the big difference is that my team's what my team is, whereas Zav's got some decisions to make. And
yeah,
by knowing Zav, as long as I have, he's a tinkerer. And he
yeah,
loves to tinker, and this will be hurting him because he hasn't had this problem all year. He definitely
yeah,
has not had this problem. He's been just holding on to players who are injured, good players that are injured. Um, yeah, so obviously, I think the big difference is going to be the quarterback battle, in my opinion. I think the running backs can wash over themselves. One might get better than the
mm,
other, but it's not. I don't think that's going to be massive. The wide receivers, obviously Jamar and AJ have not been as good as what probably everyone else thought that they were going to be, including myself and Zav. But yeah, Debo and Mike Evans are going to be the boys that'll either lead the way or make us go to fight for our survival in the next week. I think.
yeah, for sure. I think for me, I think Zav. I think you take this matchup, and I think Zav may maybe gets the selection wrong this week, but I don't think he loses next week. So
No.
I reckon that's kind of the tail of the tape is that got you this week, and then he'll get it done against Pat next week.
So you're tipping me?
I'm tipping you.
So am I. I'm tipping me too.
And now I think this is probably one of the worst matchups that we have is me and Pat. And you could argue two of the worst teams all
to
year that
think
have somehow escaped relegation.
to think you're two bastards. Uh,
Yeah, the two lowest points for
oh,
and Riz having 150 like a full maybe 2 weeks worth of points on top of Pat is
well,
pretty brutal.
the way you and Pat have been scoring of recent weeks, it's literally 2 weeks in front.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I think this is pretty shit. I back myself in. I reckon I've been like, and I know Hayden's team is called Boom or Bust, but I've like been the epitome of Boom or Bust. I've had the bet twice. I won the first week by like exponential points. Um, I reckon I can get this. I reckon I can pull this one out. I just don't see anything apart from like of course Tua could pop off, but I doubt it against Dallas. I think they're gonna come for blood after losing to Buffalo so dramatically last week. James Conner's pretty consistent. Joe Mixon has had a down year. Devontae Adams has had a fucking shit year as well. Um, there's nothing really on that side of the ledger that scares me. If Pacheco gets back up, that'll be interesting. And then I don't think he plays. I don't think you play any of these wide receivers. Maybe Nico Collins, but that would only be if he wants to bench D Hop. Kind of what you touched on Zav's team is that like I haven't touched my team all year either. And last week I got the selection wrong. I don't think it would have mattered anyway. But Jonesy's finally come back. Dylan was out, so he got the majority of the touches. They kind of moved away from him in the second half of that game because they were losing.
yeah,
But
they had to
against
throw hard, didn't
Carolina,
they?
that's a pretty good matchup. Chuba's been a good waiver wire pickup, which is incredible. Ayuk is boom or bust. Olave didn't play last week. Is
Still
questionable
boom or
this
bust
week.
though.
Yeah. Kelsey and then Saquon. Like I just yes, on paper I've still got a good team. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah. I think the big thing's going to be the quarterback matchup. I know they're only both the years are only like projected 12 and 14 points, but Baker Mayfield was dominant last
Yeah.
week. Dominant. He was so good. Um,
Yeah.
like he looks like he's it's finally all clicking for him.
Yeah.
I know he's been there you go, 5 years in the league, but it just looks like he looks comfortable. He knows what he's meant to do. He's backing his ability. Yeah, I reckon he's probably going to be the difference. I think it's going to be harder for Pat with Tua because I think unless they're behind, um, if it's close, they'll just stick with the run. They'll not
Yeah.
do what they knows best. So I think the only way that they end up doing well is or Pat ends up doing well if Miami are behind. Um, so I'm gonna tip Pat just as a point of difference. Because I can't see you or Brad tipping for Pat. Hopefully something happens. You hope that Pacheco gets up. You can get forward out of your
Yeah,
lineup, and then you can make your selection call on D Hop or Nico Collins. Yeah, look, he has to throw to someone, I guess. So,
yeah,
but that's sort of where it goes to, I guess. Um, yeah, it sort of depends on if Pacheco plays, or if he doesn't.
yeah. And again, this is just going to be one of those matchups that that absolutely no one pays attention to except for me and Pat. And by rights.
Oh, I don't know. The only other people that'll be paying attention to it is myself and Zave, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. That I'll drag over the tipping now. That brings us to the end of that. I forgot to touch on the tipping results, but it's getting real spicy at the top here. Brad just moving to a 2 point lead over me after having a pretty strong week again last week, and you had a good week yourself. So
Just can't claw it back, can I?
no, no, but that brings us to one of my favorite parts is Super League. Obviously, we don't have Brad joining us today, but just to recap round seven, he picked up Austin Eckler, which is awful, awful decision.
Idiot.
Yeah, especially somebody in your own team as well. That hurts even more.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that
had
does hurt.
Debo, who is in
Yep,
your team, and who you
yep.
got from Brad, who had 2 touchdowns. So incredible. And then I had Raheem Mostert, who also had 2 touchdowns, which is a good call from me. Obviously, Brad is not here, and I don't. You weren't here last week, were you?
I wasn't here last week. That's
Yeah.
why I had the third
So
pick.
he has foregone his ability to pick. So he will go third, and we will fill it in later. But let's spin the wheel and see who's going first,
Great work, JSO.
which is me, and then obviously you. Um, just to recap, I've got a tight end. I thought I had a flex. Oh no! Oh fuck! I haven't thought about a tight end or a quarterback. I don't want to pick the quarterback. Oh fuck.
You want to think about a quarterback?
Um,
You'd rather tight end, wouldn't you?
yeah. You're not going to pick a tight end, are you? Because you can't.
I
You
can't.
can go first because it doesn't really matter. I've got to do a bit of research before I
Right,
go
yeah.
mine.
I'm picking. I'm going a little bit of an obscure one.
Yeah,
I'm actually gonna go the Denver Broncos
the
as
Denver
my defense.
Broncos.
As my defense.
Now, who are they playing?
New England.
Okay, that's really interesting. Well, what's brought you to that?
I hadn't looked at anything, and I've gone to leaders week 16 projected defense, and they're on
Yes.
top.
God, sometimes it's just that easy, isn't it?
Yep. When you're leading Super League, and yeah, you can afford to do stuff like that.
All right, so you got the Denver defense. All right, I'm going. I'll give you 8.2. I really thought I had another flex to play. That's really fucking
Yeah,
annoying.
that's a stitch up. Proper stitch up.
I am gonna take Trey McBride. Is
Mm,
he gonna do
bad.
much? Probably not, but I
No,
don't know. Who's the third tight end that you can name?
eh,
George Kittle has a bad matchup, and then Hawkinson also. Like I think they've got the Lions, so yeah, not much out there for me.
yeah, yeah. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Damn. Still, yeah. Obviously, you went early with your quarterback and your calf pick. Well, not really that early, but still. Um, so you jumped out to the big lead. We still have to get Bradley's back, but I think it's still pretty much anybody's game, given who's
Yeah,
left to play.
it still is. It still is. Obviously, the quarterback side of things really puts you in with a massive chance being able to pick whoever you want to pick. So that's definitely going to be exciting. It might be Baker Mayfield if he keeps going the way he is.
It might be. I don't reckon it's going to
Mm,
be, but I
that'd
reckon it's
be
going to be whoever plays the Chargers, not this week, but next week.
yeah. I'd have to agree. I would have to
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Oh,
All right, Matthew.
look at
Thank
that.
you. Good luck. Good luck in your matchup. I hope that
Hopefully, we
I
don't
think the
see each
worst.
other.
Yeah, the worst possible scenario is that we are talking about our matchup again next
Yep.
week after
Yep.
touching on it this week.
Let's hope not. That's all we can do. Fingers
All
crossed.
right. Hooroo. Good night.